Welcome to the Mint Condition. I am Matt Minton, and this is a place where business owners can meet and learn how to scale their businesses through technology. Today, I'm excited because we're going to talk about how to magnetize your leads, and I'm going to show you 6 proven ways to find and attract quality prospects to your business. It's no lie that all businesses share the same thing in common across every business, and that is to drive leads to your business. That is the only way your business can grow, is if you're able to successfully attract the right people to your business that want what you offer and feel really good about taking in what you do offer. We want to find the best candidates that can take on your products. So to do that is to find the right candidates. And to be honest, at the root of everything we do, it should be because we genuinely want to help the folks out there that need our products and services. I mean, if you're not doing it for the people, then there's really no point in doing all of this work, because it's going to take a lot of hard work. And that's just how it is. I mean, you started your business in the first place to help people solve a problem that they had, and hopefully it matched up with the things that you enjoy doing. That is the perfect marriage of a great business. Now, it is important to me that everything that we talk about is all about transforming other people's lives. We want to touch other people's lives, help them solve problems, and do it through our products. So here, I'm going to talk about the 6 things that we implement every single day for our clients and for ourselves to attract better prospects. Now, the first thing we want to do is to build our ideal customer profile, or our target avatar. Now, one thing I really enjoy doing is, if you've been in business long enough, at least a year, look back at all of the clientele you've worked with, all of the receipts that you have received, and ultimately look at the people that have spent the most money with you on a repeated basis. Now, if you're a service business, this is a little bit easier because they are consistently working with you over time. If you are a product business, maybe it's looking at the folks who bought the biggest or the greatest amount of product from you. Even if you're a product business, there are recurring models. So if they're buying on a repeated basis or a continuity model, then you would want to look at the folks that are ultimately buying as much as possible from you. Now, this is ideal because a lot of times people build their target personas or their customer profile based off themselves. They think, oh, I needed to buy my product. That's why I went into business to create that product. So I'm going to build it based off myself. But I beg to differ, because if everybody was like you, then, or me, they would create a business to solve their problems. And you know that 95% of folks don't do that. They buy the products that solve their problems. They don't go through the insane effort of creating a business to help other people solve that problem and at the same time solve their own problem. Typically, you won't find that. So I would push you away from this idea of building your target avatar around you, because you're completely different. You started your business, you're running it, you're doing the hard freaking work that it takes to run a business, and you are looking to help other people in that process. I hate to say it, but 95% of people don't care about helping other people solve their problem. They just want to solve their own problem. So I highly recommend you look at the people that generated the most revenue for you over the last year or two and really create a profile around each one of those. Now, you're probably going to have a different profile or multiple profiles for each of those folks, because chances are you're going to have a profile for a very specific person and then another very specific person. For sake of example, we have a profile for a very large franchise business that is doing hundreds of millions a year in revenue. That's a very different persona than the persona of a solopreneur who is working in their garage to grow their business, and they've proven concept, they've gotten sales, they've made about 500,000, and they're just freaking stoked about growing. We've helped everybody in between and at those 2 levels. Now, the people you're working with at the franchise level is very different than the person you're working with at the solopreneur level. At the franchise level, we are working with, chief marketing officers or director of marketing or IT, for sake of example, or even a product owner or project manager on the technology team. You're never working with the owner of the company because they're busy doing whatever they're doing. They have a full team or, multiple teams around them to do what they want to accomplish. With the solopreneur, it's a very different persona. They are working hard every day, putting in tons and tons of hours. They are doing everything themselves, and they might think they know how to do most things, and there are definitely things they don't know how to do, and there's things they don't know that they don't know they need to do. And I mean, that's the same for both, let's be honest, but they're very different. They're the owner. They make all the decisions. There's not a lot of hierarchy that they have to go through when you're a solopreneur. Obviously, you just got to talk to yourself and maybe a spouse or a partner if you have a partner. But at the franchise level, you have a hierarchy to go through. You need to make sure you sell it enough to get through to, for the person you're working with to then talk to the decision maker, and the decision maker to ultimately make a decision based off of what you are saying. And sometimes you do have to sell the decision maker as well, of course. Now, it is important to really clearly identify who these people are. Are they male or female? What is their age range? What are they interested in? Now, a very good example of this is the best way I can hash this out because it's going to be different for every business. In fact, if I was going to recommend this to another web development agency and a marketing agency, it's going to be a different avatar because they're going to go after different folks. And so that's why I can't tell you what your target avatar should be, but I can help guide you based off of examples. So one of the latest examples is for a health company. And for them, they have two very different personas. They have one that is the 45 to 55-year-old female that is interested in mostly longevity, health, gut health, and keeping up with her grandkids and children. Then you have on the other side the 22 to 27-year-old female who's not interested in longevity, doesn't have kids to keep up with. She is interested in looking good on the beach and feeling really confident about herself and to maybe stay healthy, get healthier, or to just be healthy. Now, the marketing message, the whole reason why this is important is your marketing message to each of these people. Your marketing message to the 22 to 27-year-old female is vastly different than how you're going to sell your product to the 45 plus female. Now, I don't think I need to get any more clear than that because it's pretty obvious. The goals that they both have or the problems that they both are looking for solutions for are very different between the two. Now, the second thing that I want you to focus on is creating an irresistible lead magnet. Now, that is a free offer that you can offer your target market on various platforms. Now, you're going to notice something pretty consistent amongst all these videos, and that is free content, education, give things away, give. We're always talking about helping people have a transformation. And in this day and age, people will pay for transformations, but typically they need to experience a transformation in order to create trust with you as a company. So I recommend creating and developing an irresistible lead magnet, a free offer. This could be a PDF with content in it, and we're going to have future videos going over how to create these different things, but we're touching the surface here, right? So a PDF giving away really good content. Now, don't BS this. Don't just spit something out and be like, I created my lead magnet. It needs to be created with the basis of creating a transformation for your prospect. That's what this is about. Don't just spend the time to create something crappy and just release it. It's all about creating good quality content. So create something for free. It could be a PDF, a video. It could be a mini course. It could be a master class. It could be maybe an email series that they get access to, like a challenge. There's so many different things. It could be a survey, a calculator. We've done all of these with great success. And so the point of this is you create this free offer and you want to then ultimately hand it off to folks in exchange for their information. Now, this might sound familiar. You might be like, well, that's just building an email list. Heck yeah, it is. How else would you be able to get someone that you can actually contact all the time with good content and help them have transformations without having their email? Now, this is important because with email, we can automate. And I'm going to touch on the automation piece later on. It won't be in this video, it's too big, but automation is where we want to take this in the long run, because you want to automate all these efforts so that you're not focused on generating leads and contacting them and all that stuff. We want to build it out so that everything is automated. And that just makes everything run behind the scenes really easily, and it's really, really nice. So build that lead magnet and make sure that your person has a transformation based on consuming that content. They should be able to walk away with something. Consider this video. If I just BS'd my way through it and didn't give you clear content that you could apply today, and instead I said, hey, I'm just touching the surface, but I'm not gonna give you an opportunity to have a transformation through this content. Instead, pay to have that transformation, you're likely not going to listen. Instead, I want to give you really quality content so that you can have your own transformation and ultimately build that trust with Mintun Media so that when you do want to take it to the next level or next 5 levels, you think of us. That's the whole point. The whole point is to create that transformation, help you grow as a business, and ultimately show that we are an expert in our field and you can trust us, because you absolutely can. Now, the third thing I want you to consider is you have your target audience, you have your lead magnet. Now you need to optimize your website for lead generation. Now, this has many different forms. It could be, or it should be, in the form of a pop-up. Now, I know sometimes those are annoying, but when they're placed really well on the website with intention, they work really freaking well. And that's because we place an offer, a free offer, in front of your target market, explaining things in their words and ultimately giving them the transformation or the solution to the problem that they're experiencing right then. Now, couple that with a content marketing strategy. That's kind of like a sub point here. A content marketing strategy where you're writing articles and blog posts on your website that ultimately solve the problem that your prospects are encountering. Now, this is why number 1 is so important, because if you don't know who your target audience is and you don't really know what problems you're trying to solve, you're just a web development company that does web development for everybody. And if you do it for everybody, you do it for nobody. And this is why I want you to get really focused on your target personas. It's very, very important. So now you implement things on your website to optimize your site. Now that's things like making sure it loads quickly, because the stats don't lie. People will bounce if your site loads in 5 seconds or more, because they're on the go and they just don't want to wait. They know that your competitor down the street or a Google search away is going to load faster, and they're going to get their information from them. It's just how it is, and it sucks. Now, you may have a better product, but if you can't showcase that product in a better manner, then they're never going to know that you have the better product. So you create content that helps them have transformations for free. You then strategically place these pop-ups that get their email address in their name in exchange for a lead magnet that takes their transformation even further. And now they are on your email list, so then you can continuously follow up with them. A little aside on this, the moment they jump on your list, this is a little bit of a bonus, so make sure you incorporate this. We've seen great success doing this exact same thing. When that person becomes a lead in your system after they opt in to that pop-up or landing page and they accept the exchange of their email for your lead magnet, they become a lead, right? Now, it is important to follow up with that lead immediately. In fact, most businesses don't even follow up with the leads they intake, but I would push you to reach out to that lead within 5 minutes of receiving that lead. Now that's wild, but it works, and you should only do this during normal business hours, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Some people might not like that, but I would say 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in that person's time zone. If you are a local business, you know exactly what time that is. If you are a global business or a national business, just keep that in mind. Don't call people on the East Coast after 8 p.m. or 5 p.m. Pacific, and don't call people in Pacific time after 8 p.m. their time. Just keep that in mind. Now, I would say call that lead within 5 minutes because, first of all, you're going to show that you are watching your leads. Imagine how attentive you'll be when they're a client if you're calling them immediately from a lead that shows up on your website. It just shows that you are always focused on your people, and that's what's important here. So, a little bonus there. It increases conversion by I don't want to put any stats on this, but it's pretty massive. When we've incorporated this, first of all, people are surprised in a very excited way. When I say, hey, it's Matt from Mintun Media, I just saw your contact come through. I know I'm a little late. That's 3 minutes after you submitted it, and you just kind of go into that flow, and they're always taken aside like, whoa, hey, and then they're excited. And the benefit of this is that their mindset is on your product, on your service, on their problem. And that's what is so huge. Imagine calling them 8 hours later, or like most businesses, literally 48 hours later is when I think like 70% of businesses follow up with their clients. The other 30 don't follow up at all. It's wild. Now imagine how much more research you do on anything that you're interested in 48 hours. You would probably completely forget about your business after 48 hours, or that you talk to this other business 48 hours later. You're going through so much research that are you going to remember the little agency or the big agency that you talked to? Because you probably submitted something to 10 agencies at that point. And so the point right now is to stand apart, stand on top, stand above all of your competitors. Because I guarantee none of your competitors are following up with leads that quickly and with that much positivity and excitement to talk to you. Another bonus. All right, number 4. I know I'm going on and on. There's so much content here. All right, number 4. This is to really leverage your social media presence and use that platform for targeted outreach to your target market. Now, again, number 1 comes into play here. You can talk to your target market because you will talk to them in a very specific way. You can drive away the clientele you don't want to work with, and you can attract the clientele you do want to work with. Super, super powerful. And social media is free. Why not use it to your benefit? If anything, post nonstop. Because if you look at your competitors, I doubt they're using social media at all. They're probably scared of it, or they think it's a kid system. No one's going to use it. I can tell you straight up, people use it nonstop. And it's on like 98% of phones in the US. Come on. People are just using it nonstop. It doesn't even matter what age range you're at. In fact, we were just working with a client whose clientele is in their 65s and plus, 65 plus. And, the elderly crew, I wouldn't call 65 elderly, but they do, and so the elderly crew, and they were like, well, our target market's not on social media. Why are we going to use social media? And in that research, I found that, a bulk of, elderly, I hate that word. I wouldn't call them elderly, but, a group of seniors, a large group of seniors use social media, something like 40%, something like that. I don't have those stats on top of my head, but it was up there. And they're using social media. They have cell phones. They're on there using social media because they want to keep up with their families and their families' kids. And so they're on there. Everybody's on there. Yeah, the number is lower than the younger generations, but this is why data is so important. If you knew that and your target market was in the senior level, well, you might not have even thought about using social media. So I highly recommend you use social media for your efforts, and you want to release more like a 90-10. 90% is content. Again, education, teach people, help people, have them create those transformations for themselves through your content. You can then offer them your lead magnet. That's free. That's still content. And you could push them towards that to download your lead magnet. Now you're taking the control. You're going to hear me on this channel talk a lot about having controlling the customer journey. That is important. And this is just part of that. You don't control social media. You don't control what people see of yours on social media. You're just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing until they see what you have to offer. That's why we want to get them onto your email list and onto your website, because now you control that flow. You're able to communicate to them when you want to, and you become the expert to them through their inbox and through your website. It's awesome. Plus, it might not seem like social media sites are going to go down anytime soon, but if in the event that Meta, Facebook, Instagram, whomever goes down at some point in the future and they're taken offline for some reason, I know it sounds far-fetched, but would you want all your efforts to be stuck on social media, or would you have liked that you built the systems and automated the systems and put them in place to bring people to your website so that you control them and not just social media? There's going to be million and $100 million businesses taken out overnight if that ever happens, because all their efforts are on social media. Imagine all the YouTube channels that make all their money on YouTube and they're not spending the time to push their efforts somewhere else, like to an online store or, Patreon or wherever, where they can release more content for themselves, or a Discord channel. That's huge. You build a community on there instead of just keeping it inside of YouTube. Why do you think most YouTube channels do that, or the smart ones or the big ones do that? Because they want control. Number 5, implementing a solid email marketing strategy will help you nurture your leads for the long run. I have hinted at this in every single aspect of this video today in terms of automation. We want to automate this process so we can communicate really solid messages. Here, please get rid of any thoughts that this is automated in the sense of I'm just going to barf things into your inbox and it's going to be crappy. No way. We want solid content given to your customers so that they can have their own transformations. That's what this is all about. And email marketing allows you to do that. Now imagine if 24/7 you have basically an employee working for you nonstop, communicating very specifically to every single lead on your list with a very specific targeted email based off of where that person is at in their flow, or we call this a funnel, in their funnel. And they're just doing that nonstop, communicating with what they need at that point. That's what automation can do. It's basically like having an entire marketing team at your disposal communicating with your leads. And this is important because this continuously builds that excitement, that expertise, that trust with your target market, and it gets them back to your website. Now, a good content marketing strategy mixed with a good email marketing strategy is mandatory, because now you will send an email, you'll give content, and then you'll direct them to your content on your website that takes their transformation a little bit further. This is how you control that process. You get them over to your website. Now, you can then interlace this so well as a little bonus, technical bonus. If you wanted to, you can track what people are clicking and trigger more automations based off that. If they click something in the health flow that is all about longevity, well, now guess what? Why don't you deliver an entire sequence about longevity? Take them out of that first one, put them into the longevity sequence, and then deliver a cash machine or a flash sale at the end of that funnel that discloses every benefit about your product in the light of longevity. Imagine having that message and that sales message all about longevity when they have literally said, hey, I'm interested in longevity. That's why I'm here. Most people and most businesses don't do this. In fact, sign up for an email list for a big company. Big companies aren't even doing this. They just say, hey, buy me, buy me, buy me. Hey, I saw you were in my cart. Can you buy me, buy me? Hey, you left something in your cart. Hey, I'm right here. Buy me. That's all they're doing. They're not providing any content. And this is what even the big companies are doing. The small companies aren't doing anything. They're just neglecting their customers or their target audience. And there's just so much potential here to really educate people, get them to have their own transformations, which builds trust in you and builds your expertise. And then ultimately, when you make that call and say, hey, it's Matt from Mintun Media calling up, you saw me on the Mint condition, you're gonna be like, holy cow, yeah, I'm ready. And your prospects are gonna have that same thought. And that's what all of this is about. Now, number 6, you need to measure, analyze, and optimize for the long run. Now, this might be a little daunting. but it is mandatory. You can't just think that when you apply those first 5 things that you're just going to release something and it's going to work. Now, I want you to apply those 5 things and go after it hard and release it, because the worst thing you can do is not ever release. It's like I say, perfectionism is another word for procrastination. And when you want something to be so perfect that you just never release it, well, then you will never release it. And what I want you to do is to release it early and often. But in that process, number 6 is important. You should be analyzing all your efforts, because if you go through all this hard work of doing this initially, but you don't see your details, or you don't see how it's actually performing, you don't see the conversion on your opt-in page, you don't see how many clicks you're getting on your emails, you don't know how many opens you're getting on your emails, then you're just kind of like, we call that hope marketing. You're hoping it's going to work. But if you analyze your metrics, you will know where the broken pieces are, and you can implement split testing. Now, we're going to talk about this a lot on the channel over the coming months, so that you get as much out of it as you can. Like I said, content is king. I want to give you really awesome content so that you can help scale your business through technology. And this is what it takes. It takes, doing the work, of course, and it's always going to take more work than you think it's going to. So be ready. Be ready for that. Be excited by it. It's always going to take more effort than you think it's going to. But then analyze all that effort. It's always for nothing if you don't analyze it. So analyze it, and then, you may not know what's good and bad. Keep watching the channel. You will know based off of what we talk about. Once you know your metrics, your baseline, that's your control, then you'll be able to split test things that work. Better headlines, making your bullet points, hint, use bullet points, making your bullet points more benefit oriented, not so feature oriented. Let's say you have a course. I want to give you an example. Let's say you have a course. I could sell this course by saying, hey, I'm going to teach you how to scale your business in this scaling course, and it has 18 modules and 400 lessons and 300 hours of content, and it comes with a workbook and, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff that probably stressed you out. You're like, oh, I don't have time for 300 hours of video. Even if it brought me to 100 million, I don't have time for that. Who does? I mean, let's be honest. And that is what you call feature marketing. I'm telling you what I have as features, and that does not sell. What you want to do is sell the dream, as I say. You want to sell the future experience, sell the transformation. This goes for everything you do. Always sell that transformation. We do that through benefit-oriented language or advantages. What you do is you figure out what transformation your product or service gives your target persona, what they're going to experience after they apply your product. Let's say it's a health product. What are they going to experience 6 months after applying your product consistently? What are they going to feel? How are they, and this is totally based on your target market and your target persona, because what that 22-year-old female is going to experience, the benefit, is a lot different than the 45-year-old woman. So the 22-year-old woman's transformation could be, you're going to be able to go onto the beach confident in your own body and be able to show it off and feel really great about yourself when you look in the mirror. That's going to make you feel really good internally, and lo and behold, you're going to love yourself more because you're going to have that confidence. You're going to speak more confidently. You're going to land more projects. Let's say, a little side benefit of this avatar is that they are a business owner as well. You're going to land more projects because you have more confidence in you. In fact, a lot of times, a lot of folks that say you need to build up your confidence, guess what? The first thing you need to do to build up your confidence is to work out and get healthy, because being healthy helps you feel confident about yourself, and then you can speak with confidence consistently. So those benefits, you see how that's a lot different than talking about, how many modules we have in a course. Nobody really cares about that stuff, but I see this happen all the time. Instead, maybe that scaling course benefits are learn the 6 ways to ensure that your business doesn't fail this year, like 90% of businesses do. That's kind of like fear marketing, but it works because people are always fearing that. It could be, learn how to scale your business by upwards of 50% over the next 9 months. Well, wouldn't you want to scale your business 50%? And maybe you're putting yourself in the mindset of what that 50% could be. Hey, I made 5 million last year. 50% of that is 2.5 million. You're telling me in 9 months I could make 7.5 million? That's the opportunity there. Now, maybe the language is different. That was revenue. Maybe it's profit. Maybe it's not about increasing revenue, but maybe reducing expenses so that your profit goes up, or becoming, this also reduces expenses, but becoming more automated and intentional about the things you're working on, which ultimately makes you more profitable without increasing revenue. Now, of course, we always want to increase revenue, but we always want to increase profit. Now, I know we talked about a lot here. We talked about, creating your target avatar, your target persona. We talked about creating a really awesome lead magnet to give away to your audience. We talked about optimizing your website for lead gen. We also talked about leveraging your social media profile and presence to drive people back to your website so you have control. We talked about email marketing, and then we talked about tracking and analytics and metrics and measuring and analyzing those so that you can improve in the future. Now, I know this is a lot. You can do this. I mean, you really can. But if you're just so busy that this just sounds crazy and like a pipe dream, don't worry. There are companies out there that can help you do this. Companies like Mintun Media. We do this nonstop every single day, and the benefit is we know what we're looking at. This is the biggest complaint that we have when we bring clients on, is they know what they need to do, or they have an idea of what they need to do, but they don't know how to read the information that's provided to them. In fact, maybe they've hired other agencies to do this, but that agency doesn't explain what they're presenting. They just send them reports nonstop, so it appears like they're doing work, but they never actually take action, or they don't explain what it is. So you need to partner with an agency that will explain these things, or subscribe to the channel, because I will continuously talk about these things so that you can learn how to do this yourself. But sometimes you're just so busy that you don't have the time for it, and that's where we come in. I would love for our team to help you scale your business through technology by applying these things to your business for you. And this can be with you as embedded into it, or as far away from it as you want to be. We have clients all over the place where sometimes they want to be fully a part of it and we give the strategy, or they're like, hands off, you guys do what you do best, and we just get direction from them in terms of like, hey, help us figure out your target audience and work with us to figure that out, and then we can run with it. So if you have any interest in moving forward with doing this, but it's just a little bit too stressful, a little bit too much for you to take on, I would highly recommend you reach out to us at mintunmedia.com. and we can definitely help you anytime. Also, our email address is hello@mintunmedia.com. Now, a lot of this is a lot to take in, but just know that when you apply it in bite-sized pieces, it becomes more approachable. Now, this kind of goes into how we manage our development teams and marketing teams in terms of agile. I'm sure these are things you've heard of. I'm not going to get into it, but the idea is at the very forefront of agile is incremental releases. Now, I want to explain this because this is how I want you to approach everything you do with business in terms of incremental release. I mentioned before that perfectionism is another word for procrastination. And when you think of incremental releases, you think of releasing something little every single week, or, for us, it's every week. It could be every 2 weeks. It could be every day. But you're basically doing little bite-sized pieces each time you're working on this. So it could be that there's 6 things here to implement, but maybe in week 1, your focus is target personas. Then week 2, lead magnet. Week 3, optimizing your website. Maybe that's a 3-week thing for optimizing the website. That's pretty big. But keeping in mind that you can do this in bite-sized pieces. I delivered a lot right here. That's like 3 months worth of work for a busy business professional, busy business owner. But you could do these things little by little each day. And that's actually how we were able to grow from me being a solopreneur by myself for years, since 2008, to having a big agency where we have employees do, a lot of the work. And it just takes that time. And it's like that for everything. Finding the right employees takes time. Onboarding those employees takes time. Getting them to be mirror images of what makes you so great and why you started your business, that takes time to put into all your people. For me, I've noticed that it's taken a good 9 months to a year to instill that in folks. But once you instill that into folks, they then instill that into others. So it starts to automate itself, which is great. So while there is a lot here, do what I did. Do it little by little, piece by piece, and a little bit of effort every single day will amount to big things. So while this might be crazy and a little bit big and you're like, I've never even done anything on social, just start. That's all you need to do is just start and go at it full force. Go at it with a vengeance. Go at it with pure confidence that it's going to work, because if you put your mind to anything, it is possible. Now, thank you for spending time with me. This is Matt with Mintun Media. I appreciate you spending the time listening to the Mint Condition and how we can help scale your business through technology. Now, I know sometimes it feels like it's just not possible. All this digital stuff just seems so hard. And how can you fit it in with a crazy schedule? But I am the one to tell you that it's totally doable. You just got to start. Have a wonderful day. Please like and subscribe. Post a comment below if you have any questions. I read every single comment, and I would love to hear from you. I hope you have a wonderful, amazing day.